actually, it was Kevin's idea. It's my business partner's idea. He came to me one day, and we were having drinks with a common friend of ours, and he had the idea. He had been doing some installation work on his own, and he wanted to start his own company. I was, at that time, running somebody else's video conferencing / audiovisual company, and was just dumb enough to think that we could actually make it work. So
I was young and, I don't know, maybe arrogant. I thought I could do it better than my previous bosses, so give it a shot. Basically, that's how it went down.
I'd say they complement each other very well. They're like yin and yang, which I guess is, they joke why they always have a third person to help solve disputes or arguments or whatever you want to call it.
I would describe both of them as the most genuine, kind, generous people that I know.
I was on the phone with Aaron, and I was in my conference room. I'll just leave it at that. We were talking, and he mentioned something like Gemini or some other astrological sign. And I was like, well, if we're going to go that way, then we're both Tauruses. So
that was really a Kevin thing. At the time, we were having a real hard time finding anything with a .com at the end of it that hadn't already been used. We kind of had a few ideas. We had Orion Technologies, a couple of different things, and one day he called me and he just had an epiphany, and we're both Tauruses, so he came up with the Taurus Technologies. I loved it. The friend that I actually spoke about that was there with us when we started the company, he designed our logo. So it all comes back really to that one meeting when we started the company.
When I started, it was a group of 15 technicians, and I was the youngest, and I was definitely like the oddball. Like, I like computers and I like video games, and everybody I worked with were a bunch of cowboys. So
I've had some really, really good times on some big jobs and had some amazing times with some amazing people. And I've just met all kinds of people that I never would have met if I didn't come here.
One of the greatest things about that I love about Taurus is being hired to come on and do sales. At some point, I had to do plenty of time out in the field to do some training. And by far, my favorite story was we were at Atmos Amarillo, and it is a raised floor, and all the cable had to be run under the floor. So, as we called it, we were just Indiana Jones in it. We would take one cement block out of the floor and we would carry some cable and crawl under the floor all the way across the building until somebody would pop another hole, and then you'd shoot up. And I think that was one of my favorite things was crawling under the floor.
We hired friends, so it didn't really feel much like, I don't know, I guess what I expected it to be like. Basically, it was just hanging out with our friends working, instead of playing basketball or softball or whatever, we were just hanging out working. So when we hired our first, friend of a friend, because that's the way it worked when we started. We hired our friends, then their friends would, come on and work with us. So, I don't know, it was fun. I enjoyed the small company feel.
We're kind of a group of, I don't want to say misfits, but there's some square pegs that we work with, and I think we all get along well, and we welcome different personalities, different types of people. So as it goes back to the hiring process, I think it's fun to kind of mix in new people and see how they're going to work with the folks we've got, because I think a lot of what makes us better is our culture here and our people.
Great company, great employees, great ownership. Love us all to death, man. Thank you, Taurus.
Very much. You guys are the best.
Passionate. I think passionate for their employees, passionate to do what's right, passionate to make sure that they run a company that has high moral standards, does right by the customer, and provides the best customer service possible.
Generous. I have a lot of respect for those two gentlemen, but generous is how I would describe them in all facets, whether it's personally or whether it's at Taurus. Generous is the easiest way and the most accurate way I can think to describe either of them.
So before the actual Christmas party, our manager, Tim O'Quinn, brought everybody into the conference room and decided to give us all nicknames. So as you can see, I'm wearing a lab coat. So I got called Dr. AV Nerd. If I wasn't working for Taurus, I would probably be
Professional unicyclist. Park ranger at a national park somewhere.
President of the United States. But not like the president that you know today. Like a really good one.
I think that I have a really good taste for beer, all different types of beer.
In my last video experience, I told you I was going to grow lettuce.
Ethnic beer.
Telling some people to turn it off and back on again somewhere else, I guess.
Ethnicity beer.
YouTube videos or drop ship email, something on the internet for sure.
And I feel like I could be a pretty hell of a good brewmaster for sure.
I can tell you a lot of funny stories, but really for me, it's more heartfelt in the respect of the early employees, the folks that have been with us for a while, the 10s, the 15-year employees. There are many of them who waited on paychecks, who used their own credit card for rental cars, who were vital in us growing. We lived hand to mouth. If we were paid late from a particular customer, then we didn't have the money to make up for it. So people would wait a couple extra days for their check.
We made so little money that we would go pretty much anywhere to do a job. I remember Brian Ranney and I think this might have been before he even actually hired on. He might have been just subbing for us. But he and I got in a truck, and we actually borrowed Coop's truck because his was newer than mine. So we got, and didn't have as many miles. So we got in Coop's truck. We drove to, I think it was Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Installed 6 projectors, which took us a day. Turned around and drove back. So 30 hours driving for about 6 hours worth of work. We just go where we had to go.
That's how things went early in our existence. Yeah, we just did what we needed to do when we needed to do it.
We did wear a lot of hats. The most memorable, I guess, would be us all pitching into dive in and receive gear. It was really difficult. I mean, I had to take off my heels, break down boxes, pass on TVs. But we all got together and just got it done. We didn't have a warehouse, so that was really fun. I mean, sarcastic, but yeah.
Who could ask for anything more from an owner?
They are, without a doubt, the best bosses that you could really have.
Retention is a word that comes to my mind. Being able to keep the same employees for a long period of time with a limited amount of turnover, I think that's huge.
What Kevin and Aaron have done here at Taurus is remarkable. Again, when I started there in that small 2-suite office, having a handful of customers that really relied on us to put together great solutions, and then seeing them grow it to what it is today, it's really impressive.
Golly, in 20 years, I guess really my ultimate vision is once Taurus has had enough of me, I think really I'd like the employees to have the opportunity to take it over, to buy the business or whatever that entails. I've kind of talked to my accountant about it a little bit, but that'd really be my dream, to pass it on to the folks that helped us build it into what it is.
Regardless of how big we are, I don't care about that. As long as we keep doing a good job, that's what I care about.
Thank you, Taurus.
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 Thank you, Taurus. Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you, Taurus.
Thank you, Taurus.
So, what's next for Taurus?
Well, I'm excited to say that the next step in Taurus is.
I have several other passions, but I feel like I'd make a really good brewmaster, honestly.